what exactly is communication? If you ask most people that question, they will respond to you in some way similar to this. Communication is the dispensing of information. Communication is giving information in some way. And while that is certainly accurate, it is at the same time incomplete. I'm Dr. Derek Noble, and this is Lead Through Communication. This is a video series where I partner with you. I become your coach, and I help you to become a better leader by helping you to become a better communicator, because communication and leadership and communication go hand in hand. Welcome to this episode where we're talking about the fact that communication is more than words. Communication is much more than words, is much more than dispensing information. I want you to just conduct a little experiment with me, okay? I want to ask everybody to say the word sure, S-U-R-E. I want everyone to say the word sure, but the first time you say it, I want you to say the word sure like you're happy, okay? Everybody say the word sure like you're happy. Great. Now I want you to say the word sure, but this time I want you to say it like you're angry. Say sure like you're angry. Thank you. And now for a third time, I want you to say the word sure, but this time I want you to say the word sarcastically. Go ahead. Say the word sure sarcastically. Did you hear the difference? See, it was the same word. But by changing your tone, probably by changing your facial expressions, by changing your body language, the message itself changed. See, communication is not just words. You can say the right thing, but say the right thing the wrong way. Communication involves at least three things, okay? And today we're just talking about spoken communication. There are at least three different types of communication. Basically, there are at least three types of communication. There's verbal communication, there's nonverbal communication, and then there's written communication. In the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about written communication. But for now, let's just talk about spoken communication. When it comes to spoken communication, verbal communication, there are at least three levels of communication, and that's the first point I want to make. The first level of spoken communication is words, the actual words that you speak. Now, this is important for a leader. The reason why this is important for a leader is because the average United States citizen reads and comprehends at a fifth grade level. Used to be 8th grade level. It is now 5th grade. I could do a whole series on why I think our national IQ has dropped, but that's another story for another time. But just keep in mind that the average person in the United States reads and comprehends at a 5th grade level. Now, if you know that your employees are all educated employees, if you know all of your employees are college graduates or they have degrees from graduate school, then you know you don't need to speak at a 5th grade level. But if that's not the case, if you're not certain that each one of your employees has a graduate level degree, then you might want to make sure that your language and your vocabulary is more fitting. For example, if I were speaking to a room of my fellow doctoral degree holders, if I was speaking to a room full of PhDs, a room full of other people with doctoral degrees, and I wanted to talk about the ways in which people learn, I would probably say something like this. I want to talk to you about your epistemological stance, because I know everybody in the room would understand probably what epistemology or epistemological stance means. But if I'm speaking to a room full of people who do not have graduate degrees, instead of saying, I want to speak to you about your epistemological stance, I would probably say, I want to spend some time talking to you about the different ways in which people learn. I basically said the same thing, just with different vocabulary. So keep in mind who your audience is when you're communicating with them. I don't mean to imply that people who do not have graduate level degrees are ignorant. Definitely not. What I'm saying is your goal as a communicator is not to impress people. Hear this. Your goal as a communicator is not to impress. Your goal is to be understood. And if they didn't understand you, you didn't communicate, okay? So first of all, there is the spoken words, but the second level of communication is tone. This is one that a lot of people make big mistakes with, especially in leadership. I've seen a lot of leaders who come to me and say, Dr. Noble, people are angry with me and there's a mutiny on my hands. What's the problem? I said what needed to be said. Probably the problem was the way you said it, because communication is not just what you say, it's how you sound when you say it. For example, your significant other comes to you and says, you haven't told me I love you lately. And your response is this: babe, I'm so sorry. I've been so busy, but that's no excuse. I need to tell you I love you. I love you, okay? All right, now that's one scenario. Here's the second scenario. Your significant other has said, you don't tell me you love me enough. And here's your response: babe, I've been busy. I don't have time to say I love you, okay? Hear the difference? Same words. I said the exact same words, but the message changed because of the tone. It is not just what you say. Leaders, please hear this. It's not just what you say. It's how you sound when you say it. Some of you need to practice what you say before you say it to people, because that's the reason why they don't like you and they don't like your leadership. It's not just words, it's your tone. And the third level of communication is body language. It's not just what you say, it's not just how you sound, but it's also how you look when you're communicating. Now, this involves the way you move your body, the way you gesture, and it also involves your facial expressions. Case in point, I was working with a young lady who had become an executive. As a matter of fact, she was an executive with a large company, and she was the very first female vice president. So she came to me and asked me to be her leadership coach and her speech coach. Well, not her speech coach. She actually just asked me to be her leadership coach. But when you ask me to be your leadership coach, I coach you on communication as well, because leadership and communication go hand in hand. So what she said to me was, I'm the first female, I've broken the glass ceiling, and I want to make a great impression at this first meeting, and I'm speaking at the first meeting. Can you work with me on my script? I said, I'll gladly work with you on your script, but before we do that, I want you to practice walking into the room. Walk into the room for me. And she was like, why do I need to walk into the room for you? I need you to work with me on my words. I said, what you don't understand is you begin to communicate before you ever open your mouth. The way you walk into the room, if you walk into the room with your head down, what you're communicating is, I'm not confident. If you walk into your room too cocky, what you're communicating is, everyone here is beneath me. They're all peasants. I said, so what I need you to do is practice walking into the room. Walk into the room with confidence. We practiced her body language before we ever practiced a word that came out of her mouth. And she finally understood communication is not just what you say. It's not just how you sound, but it's also how you look while you're saying it. There's much more we could say about this, but our time is up for right now. I want you to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this video, please subscribe to this channel, and follow me on social media. You can find me all over the place. I'm Dr. Derek Noble. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Follow me, I'll follow you back. Stay with me, and we're going to talk next time about written communication, because my job is to help you take your levels of leadership and communication to their next stage of excellence. Thank you.